Okay, hi there, it's Kim Willis again. Last day, last lesson for the $1 Million Formula Challenge. How I use try-building strategies to make my first $1 million online. Alright, now, the previous 4 lessons have focused mainly on marketing strategies, try-building, create your instant tribe, connect and convert, and then grow your tribe daily. Of course, the first strategy was called cut it out, wasn't it? So don't forget that lesson. I said strategy, I mean lesson. That lesson, cut it out. Create a space for the good that you desire. It's so important that we remove clutter, unnecessary clutter from our lives, and we've all got it in one form or another. So don't forget that first lesson. Of course, the marketing strategies are probably going to be quite helpful for most people that watch this video, if not all. But let's finish off with the last topic, and it's called Feed the Spirit. Now, I might add, before I start on this topic, this Feed the Spirit topic, I might add, in fact I will add, that I've also got my top list, my marketing checklist, if you like. And this is a list that has served me very, very well over the years. So hang in there for that. But let's look at this topic. I'm not going to spend much time on it, but it is important that we continue to feed the Spirit, because there are ups and downs. You, at the starting point here, you've got goals at the end of the road, but along the way there are going to be all sorts of distractions, roadblocks, negative sentiment, societal pressures, etc. So we've got friends, so-called, well-meaning friends, and sometimes they say things that almost sound like they're putting you down, right? So we've got to steel ourselves. We've got to armor plate ourselves so that any of these comments come like water off a duck's back. We've got pessimists. Society is full of pessimists. That's why newspapers sell so well. That's why people watch the news on TV and so on. It kind of makes them feel better when they see, there's all these other people having bad things happen to them. My life isn't so bad after all. But essentially, they're pessimists. Lots of people like that. So we've got to kind of take a detour when we come across people like that. Societal conditioning, everything is dumbed down, lowest common denominator kind of stuff. Then on the right-hand side, we've got relatives. And I told you how I did not tell my family, like my mum and other relatives in the extended family there, that I was going into this home business, internet marketing kind of thing back in 2006. The only person I told within my close orbit, my family orbit if you like, was my wife. And fortunately she backed me to the hilt. That was great. Guilt and fear. What about that? Guilt and fear. Some people have a fear of success, other people have a fear of failure. If I had to choose, I'd rather the latter than the former. Having a fear of failure can be good. In fact, I probably do have some kind of a fear at a deep level, a fear of failure. I don't like to fail. And so, in a way, people say, fear is a negative thing. No. You can harness that fear for positive outcomes. You can do that. But what about fear of success? That's more difficult. Some people are fearful of success. They start out on their journey, and when they get closer to their goal, for some inexplicable reason, they sabotage themselves. Self-sabotage is real for some people. Self-sabotage. And I think it's to do with fear of success. They just don't think they're good enough. They don't think they're worthy of this goal. They don't think they're good enough to reach this goal. And then they start to worry, what if I do reach this goal and I'm making all this extra money? Maybe I'm going to lose my friends. I don't want to lose my friends. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Well, look, if that's one of the fears that you have, well, perhaps if you can kind of train your mind to believe in the reality that if your friends abandon you because you're successful, they weren't very good friends to start with. And secondly, don't you think you'd be acquiring a bunch of new friends, more successful friends, friends with a better attitude? Wouldn't you think that would happen? See? Don't come from lack and limitation. Absolutely, do not come from lack and limitation. You need to subscribe to the view that the possibilities are limitless and the world is expanding. It's not contracting, despite what the media may say. Opportunities are everywhere. We're only limited by our own imagination and our courage and resourcefulness. That's it. So if you've got some kind of a fear of losing your friends, fear of success, fear of failure, well, harness that fear of failure. If you've got fear of success, well, dig deeper. Try and figure out what it is that's causing you to have that fear of success. And then if you can isolate it, then you can name it, then you can shame it, and then maybe you can remove it. Name, shame, remove. Dump it. Get rid of it. Into the bin. Into the metaphorical bin. What about guilt? That's another big one. Some people have guilt about all sorts of things, and it prevents them from moving ahead. Do you have any guilt? Are you harboring any guilt? Were there some things that you did in the past that you weren't proud of, holding you back now? Is guilt part of it? Think about it. Name it, shame it, remove it. One of the best ways to name, one of the best things that you can do when you are going through this naming process is to write it down. Confront it. Confront it. Write it down. Name it. When you do that, it kind of loses its power. That's what I've found anyway. You know, when I told you in one of the earlier lessons that I had a chronic fear of the phone, and before that I had a shocking fear of public speaking, anything more than talking in front of any more than 3 people. To me, that was a crowd. You know, that was a big crowd. If it was 4 people, that's a big crowd. I couldn't handle it, right? And the same with picking up the phone. I had to name it. Then I had to shame it. I had to make fun of it. And then that kind of belittled it and made it seem so small and silly of me to have that fear. I made fun of it. And that gave me more power to have dominion and more courage to have dominion over that fear. Okay, here's another graphic I really enjoy. This is called The Relative Joy of Entrepreneurship. It's a little bit naughty with a couple of the words that they used, but maybe I should have got them changed. But they're not my words. I didn't create this idea. I got it from someone else. But I think it's quite funny, and if you've got a little bit of an open mind, I think you'll probably have a bit of a chuckle with it. But it's not just the fact that it's funny. It's also that it is very, very real. It is a good reflection of what happens to us when we're in the business arena, because there are all sorts of ups and downs and roadblocks and dead ends and side dead end lanes and walking into walls, driving into walls. All sorts of things can happen that kind of deflect us and get us off track. Right? And this is why some people go down the shiny object pathway. They're always looking for the miracle deal, right? But there's no such thing as a miracle deal unless you have fundamentally changed the way you operate, okay? And if you do fundamentally change the way you operate, you don't need to look for miracle deals anymore, because chances are the one you've got right now is good enough. So, this is what happens. We start out, we're all enthusiastic, it's awesome, let's do this, hey, I'm excited, I'm motivated, hey, let's crush it, guys, I'm ready for this. And then we find out, and we realise that, oh my goodness, there's work involved. The romance tends to drop after a few days or a couple of weeks, and we're down to the harsh reality of doing the business. Harsh reality. And that's about grinding it out. I remember a book that I read by a guy called Ray Kroc. And if you know anything about business history, you'll know that Ray Kroc was the guy that took over the McDonald's business and turned it into a monster global success story. Okay? And the name of his book was Grinding It Out. And I think it was a great title. And in reality, all businesses are about grinding it out. We're always grinding it out, relentless. And it seems to me that a lot of people who fail just do not have the intestinal fortitude, the courage, the guts, whatever you want to call it, to just buckle down and do the frickin' work for 3 to 6 months, and preferably 6 months, without deflection, grinding it out. So what happens is that until people get their brains working in the right way, what will happen is that after the initial excitement has worn off, they realise this is hard work, and they get a few, maybe they get some rejection or something like that, a few bad words are said to them and so on, and then they realise, hey, this is freaking hard. This is hard. This is harder than what I thought it would be. Well, welcome to the real world. We have to just grind it out, sorting the wheat from the chaff, and the wheat ain't much fun, right? The chaff ain't much fun. It's like a great trainer who influenced me a lot more than 20 years ago. His name is Larry Thompson, and he loved bologna sandwiches, right? I remember this story very well. He loved bologna sandwiches. Now, I believe bologna is a kind of a meat thing. I wouldn't know. I'm not a vegetarian, but I've never eaten it. I've heard of it, but that's it. And he said, I'd go to my local, specialty food shop or delicatessen or whatever, and he wanted to get them to prepare a bologna sandwich for him because he loved the way they did it. But he said the only thing I didn't like about it is that they also included tomato and onion and sometimes lettuce and stuff like that. And he said, here I am, I'm chomping through the lettuce, I just want to get to the bologna, right? I just want to get to the bologna, but I've got to get through the lettuce to get to the bologna, and I feel guilty if I just pull out the lettuce. That would be cheating. So I've got to do the hard yards first. So our business is a bit like that. We want the result. We want the money. We want the sales. We want the leads. We want to do all that. But we got to chew through the lettuce and the carrot and all of that first before we get to the bologna, right? So it's a bit like that. Now, what happens is that people's attitude when this happens, and if they're not mentally conditioned, mentally tough, they'll take a big drop with attitude, and this is the time when they're most likely to quit, right? But a percentage of people won't quit. They'll hang in there. They'll realise that it'd be stupid for them to quit, and they've just got to hang in there till they get another positive experience. Always hanging out for the next win, right? The next win. So, these quality people say, to hell, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to just keep hanging in there, because sooner or later something good's going to happen again, just like it did when I first got started. So now they're starting to, their emotions are levelling out now, okay? Feeling it. They're levelling out. They're not as fluctuating. They're not having the big down days anymore. So they're bumping along there. They're getting a few little results, and oh boy, another setback. Ouch. But they keep going, and whoa, what happens now? They make a sale. Someone joins. Someone signs up. Yay! I'm feeling on top of the world again. All right, nothing's going to stop me now. So they keep going. They keep going. Oops! There's another smack in the face. Right, and on we go. Nice one. Rough champagne. What the happened there? Yeah. See, I love this because it's funny, but it's so cotton picking true, isn't it? So, well, the only reason why I'm sharing these things with you is to perhaps help you to, if you need it, to toughen up, and give you some backbone if you need it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're tough just like me. But I tell you what, I was not tough in the early period. There I had many ups and downs. I still have a few ups and downs, but it's not like every day. It's not even like every week. It may be one day a month or something like that, right? But if I can prepare you, I'm trying to condition you for the journey ahead. And if you're using tribe-building strategies, which is what I would highly recommend you do, it's not easier. I'm not saying it's easier. It's just smarter and more sustainable. It's not easier. Let's stop looking for easier ways. Of course, there are shortcuts that we can take with our techniques and all the rest of it, but overall, it's not easier. It's just better. Okay? Because we want to create some sustainability. We want to build our own personal brand, attract people to that brand, to us, of course, And then we've got a degree of independence going for us. We're not beholden, if we're an affiliate or a network marketer or something like that, we're not beholden to another company for our very existence. So that's why I'm doing it. I'm wanting to toughen you up and prepare you for the journey ahead. Do not, if you get involved, let's say even you start promoting TriBuilder products and programs, don't do it because you think it's easier. It's not easier. It's just as tough as anything else. But I believe it's better. We're doing good things here. We have a cause. We have a mission. This is a positive story. Okay? We're not scamming people. We're not conning people. We're giving people great products, great value. Now, this is a good thing to do. This is a good thing to do. And if you get fully involved with us, you'll see exactly why I say that. You should know it already. If you own the TriBuilder Core product, it's a beautiful product. You're in all probability, you're going to love it. Now, feed the spirit. I hope I've been feeding your spirit already, but the sort of things that I've done in the past and continue to do is that if I'm feeling a little bit flat, I'll just start out nice and soft by just having some no-pressure conversations with people. I find that is the most effective strategy of them all. Sure, I can listen to Anthony Robbins and people like that, but even if I did do that, and I have done it before, I'm not going to waste 2 hours listening to those guys. It'll be 10 minutes, that's all. Because the most important thing that we can be doing is talking to people. And if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to feel any pressure, you want to make it nice and easy so you can ease back in to the work week once again, do it this way. Daily, no pressure conversations with leads. And you start having a couple of nice conversations, and if you're like me and lots of other people that I work with, all of a sudden you start to get your creative juices going, you start to feel good, smile on your face because you're having some positive conversations. I don't think you can beat that. Certainly watching videos, training videos, in the early stages particularly, I got a lot of inspiration from watching training videos. Not so much feel-good personal development videos, but training video, how to. I'm a practical sort of a person, and I've always been very curious. I want to become the best I can possibly be. So it's all about skill development, skill enhancement, isn't it? Read a book. But as I said before, we're not going to read a whole book in one sitting because that's just another way of escaping from the real world. We don't want to do that. But I'll read a page, right? So before I start talking with people again, I might read a page. I take 10, 15 minutes to read a page or two or something like that, right? Get some good thoughts out of that, take some notes, highlight some of the key, the key sentences or something like that. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is good. I like this idea. I'm going to apply this idea. It could be a business book or something like that. Affirmations. In the early years, I used affirmations a lot. I don't use them now. Maybe I should, but I got my motivation elsewhere. That's a practical thing. I'm not saying for you not to do it. If you're doing it, great. If it's working for you, fantastic. But I don't need to do it anymore because I'm just so highly motivated most of the time that the affirmations are kind of superfluous. But for new people, yeah. I'm a super successful person, and I love to help people every day. Something like that. That's an affirmation. That's a positive statement that you're making. And the way I used to do it in front of the mirror. I have my little affirmation cards. Do it in front of the mirror before I start working. Jump up and down on the spot. Smile in front of the mirror. Those sort of things definitely helped for sure. And then the final one is talk to your mentor if you have one. And if you have a mentor worth talking to. So if it's, if you're doing try-building strategies, etc., well, you need to find a mentor that's really good at it. If your focus is more your team building, you're promoting MLM or something like that, and we'll talk to Talk to your team leader. If you've got a team leader that you believe in, that could be fantastic. I've done that. The first program I joined in 2006, a lady called Tanya, she helped me make my first dollars online in my first month, the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in my first month, and we've been firm friends ever since. Okay, so there you have it. That's it. Just one page. That's all I've got for you. Feed the Spirit. Find the best way. Read the Bible if that's the thing for you. Go to church. Network with like-minded people. Feed the Spirit. Doesn't have to be all online. Offline is great. Go to a positive thinking meeting. Go to a meetup or something like that. Mix with other positive thinking people, goal-oriented people, successful people. People that perhaps are a little bit more successful than you. That's a good thing. Don't go to meetings and networking groups that's full of people wanting to have a pity party. You don't want that. You don't want that. You need that like you need a hole in the head, don't you? So be very careful about who you associate with. And my best advice for you is to associate with winners, positive thinking people, people at your level and above. People at your level and above. It's critically important. Critically important. You have to feed the Spirit because you are going to have some downtimes. And unless you've got some kind of Spirit feeding strategy in place that becomes part of your daily regimen, well, it becomes very easy to get off track, doesn't it? Very, very easy. And of course, don't forget, reacquaint yourself with your goal, your dream, your vision for the future. Okay, so there we go. Feed the Spirit, and here's my list. The formula revealed. All right. Now, I've dug deep, and I've come up with this formula, if you like try and take a scientific approach here. It's not that scientific. It's just more self-awareness, self-observation. These are the reasons why I've done well. Okay? So some of it was to do with skill enhancement. Right? As I said before, it's always been a big thing for me. I want to become the best I can be. Well, does that mean I'm going to be the best in the world? Of course not. Of course not. I'm not going to be the best in the world at anything, probably. But if I can be in the top 5 or 10% globally, or even in my own community or in my own country, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. That's good enough. Okay? So, engagement. I decided to become the best I could possibly be at engagement. What's that about? Phone, email, chat. That's about it, isn't it? Engagement. Two-way conversation. So in 2006, it was about the phone. And then I learned a bit about email marketing a couple of years later. I started doing that, and I became really good at creating great subject lines. Subject lines that would entice, almost force people to open the email because they're so damn curious. Right? And then the email itself, I made it good. It was a good read, and I have made hundreds of thousands of dollars just from sending out my little emails over the years. So email marketing has been phenomenal. Now, I'm not nearly as active now because social media has become much bigger in my life. But I could easily go back to full intensive mode email marketing if I wanted to. Anytime I want, I can turn the tap back on. No problem. Chat. Okay, that was a new skill. That was a brand new skill. I'm not used to this chatting thing, right? That was my self-talk. I'm not used to chatting with people. I became good on the phone. That's all I should do. And then I became good at email. That's all I need to do. Email plus phone. That's it. Magical combo there. But then, I kept thinking about this social media, and the success was eluding me for so many years. And it was only in 2016 that I finally cracked the code. 2016, okay? And I thought, well, I'm just going to have to get good at this freaking chat thing. Because other people are doing it, and if they can do it, I can do it. That's what I kept coming back to. With all of these challenges I've had in the past, if they can do it, I can do it. Right? And that's the kind of belief that you need to have. If they can do it, I can do it. If Kim Willis can do it, I can do it. If someone else can do it, someone within our tribe can do it, I can do it too. You've got to have that kind of self-talk working for you. Always helpful. I started out from day one. I said, I do not feel comfortable about using these aggressive pitching methods on the telephone that I was taught. Not so much by Tanya, my mentor, but by the company itself. And I just said to Tanya, I said, Tanya, I am not comfortable with this stuff. You know, it's reading off a script, not taking no for an answer, blah, blah, blah. I said, no. I tried it for a week. And then I said, okay, I've done what they've said. I tried it for a week. I'm not continuing. I'm going to do it my way. And my way is about being helpful. I'm going to lead with value and see what comes of it. You said, okay, if that's what you think will work, I trust you. I believe you. I've seen you. I know you've had success in the offline world before, this home business thing. So go with your best instinct. I said, thanks, Tanya. That's what I'm going to do, and I'll let you know how I got on. And the rest is kind of history, So sometimes I put their needs ahead of mine when I was talking to a prospect. Even if I thought they weren't good, even if I couldn't qualify them, let's say they didn't have the money. So on the phone, they didn't have the money, I'm still going to help them. Sometimes I put their needs ahead of mine. I'd send them to places. I'd give them the names of people with phone numbers, contacts. They needed a job. I got people onto what was called Odesk back then, someone who had a skill, computer skills, etc. I told them how to become a contractor and get maybe some regular work from a platform like Odesk. It's now called Upwork, by the way. And see if they can market their skills there, build up an income stream, build up a savings balance, and then if they want to come back to me and talk about a business opportunity, which was what I was promoting, okay, do it then, because now they'll have a few $1,000s behind them. I did things like that. I temporarily forgot about making a sale. I was just totally focused on their problem, not mine. If I couldn't see them being successful, I would walk away, but only after I helped them. I was never rude, unless they were rude to me, right? Okay, but I was never rude. But if I couldn't see them being successful, I would walk away, but I'd do it in a polite way. I'd say something like, "Look, John, I don't think I can help you. I'm sorry. I just can't see how this would fit, because you're going to need a little bit of money, and it seems to me that you'd be better off going back into the workforce for a little while and get your finances in order, etc., etc." Now, could I have really hammered some of those people to put it on their credit card and all that? For sure. But I wasn't going to do it. It was as simple as that. Friendshipping. Okay, this is another thing that is important to me. I like, wherever possible, I like to make friends. People that I do business with. I want to have some kind of a friendship happening. I don't have much of a social life, right? So maybe it's just the way I satisfy my need to have relationships with people. Okay, so I like the idea of making a friend and being a friend. I do. So that was another part of the formula. And there have been plenty of times over the years where I went, particularly before my wife died and before she got sick, okay, and certainly in the offline world as well, in the traditional world of business, plenty of times where we have held barbecues and things like that, and we'd invite over some of our client stroke friends, okay, and we'd have a great time. And some of those people, they'd invite us to their house for dinner parties and all of that sort of stuff. Yeah. Number 4, commercial nous has to feed into the strategy, doesn't it? We're not Mother Teresa's. I'm not Mother Teresa. I don't look good in a dress, although some might disagree with that. And commercial reality always intrudes. It has to intrude. So when I say I help people, it might only be for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, okay? And, if I think I can do business with them, if I think that they'll be a good fit, if I can see them being successful, okay, well then I'm going to press on. I am going to press on. I'm going to take them to the next step, closer to making a buying decision. Number 5, building authority and audience from day one. Well, I've drummed this message into you in a fairly resolute way this week, so I think you got the idea there. But let's nuance it a bit. Let's look at a little bit more of the detail. building authority and audience. So I talk about the voice, and not just talking about the you using your vocal cords. It's content has voicing, okay, and even text, Facebook posts, text-based posts. It's voice. There's a voice there. It's your voice. It's your personality. Look at it like that. It's your personality that's coming through into that content. If you do a Facebook Live or you record a video or something like that, okay, they'll hear your physical voice. But your physical voice is really just a manifestation of the inner you. That's the way I like to look at it. So I try and be as authentic as possible, the real me. So if I'm recording a video, it's one of my crazy lifestyle videos and street walking videos. I've done heaps of them over the years as I travel to different destinations. They hear my physical voice for sure, but they're really getting my personality as well, right? So voice is more of an all-encompassing term than just your vocal cords being exercised. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? That's a little bit perhaps obscure, but you want to be able to project the real you, and part of that should include conviction when necessary. Conviction. Do you have a conviction? Do you believe that what you're promoting, that your offer, your service, your product, your opportunity, whatever it happens to be, that you believe that has the power to improve people's lives, even change them significantly? Do you believe that? And can you back it up? Is it justified or is it just hype? Right, that's important. You need to have internal logic. Remember, I spoke about internal logic on one of the previous lessons. Your narrative must be logical. It's got to stack up. So if you're going to project conviction, it needs to have some kind of a logical underpinning. And you can see that there, the internal logic. It's a natural lead in there. They're linked. They are linked. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're writing a piece of content, maybe you're giving a tip or something like that. Does the tip stack up? Does it make sense? All right. You're writing a longer story, or you're recording a longer video. Maybe you're doing a hero story kind of a thing. Okay. You look at all the different aspects of your life, the different challenges that you've had along the way, as well as some of the wins that you've had along the way. Then you get towards the end there and you're thinking, okay, well, I better finish this off. I want to make some kind of a business point. I want to give people some advice. I want to give them a little bit of a lesson, a takeout here, so it's been worth their while reading this thing. It's got to stack up. There has to be internal logic, third-party backup. All right, so if you're making a case for a product, a service, a business, opportunity, something like that, third-party backup. You haven't got any results, you don't have any testimonials, you don't have any customer testimonials or anything like that. Well, if you're dealing with a product that is being marketed by another company, they will have testimonials. So you use those, but you've got to use them effectively. You have to use them effectively. You have to bring those stories to life. So you bring them to life on a voice call, or a phone call, or a video, or a piece of text. You bring them to life. You tell a story. You develop a narrative. Now, some people say, oh, I'm not good at writing. Okay, well, become good at writing. It's a skill. Of course, I'm not denigrating video. If you are genuinely, really good at it, or potentially good at video, and you think that's where your future lies, okay, maybe you give more weight to that. But I would love it if you could do a little bit of text-based work, because it will help you. It will help you articulate a coherent message. It'll help you to become better at the persuasion game. It will help you improve your authority. People start to look up to you. You don't have to be a great writer. I've got lots of examples of people who were not good writers, and they may never be great writers, but they're competent writers now. they're competent when it comes to putting content together. And we're not talking about long posts. It could be 2 paragraphs of text. It's not hard. It just requires a bit of discipline and maybe a little bit of a change in attitude. Stories, yes. So third-party backup, what's that? That's about testimonials. But what I like to do is, and I've done this in the offline world when I was helping traditional businesses in the 1990s particularly, but also in the 2000s a little bit, helping them improve their messaging on their websites, on their literature, etc., on their promotional literature, brochures, etc. I'd see their testimonials. I'd have testimonials on their website. Okay, so what I did was that I got hold of those testimonials and I turned them into stories. I got permission from the owner or the manager of the business to talk to some of their very happy customers. So they said yes, they gave me the contact details, and then I phoned them up and I did a little interview. And they were flattered that, I was calling them, and I've done it for plumbing businesses, removalist businesses, fencing businesses, chiropractic businesses, all sorts of even accounting businesses, staid old accounting businesses, practices. Yeah, I've done it. And talk about transformational. You take a mere testimonial, which is normally just a couple of sentences of text, and then you turn it into a story. And people love stories, don't they? Okay, so just think about that. I'm giving you food for thought. And by the way, if you're not involved with TriBuilderCore, and this is my shameless plug now, if you're not involved with TriBuilderCore, you need to be. It's not a money issue because the money is next to nothing compared to the value that you'll get out of it. But it will give you the opportunity to take your understandings to a higher level. It will enable you to go deeper, okay, on this kind of stuff. And it's important that you do that. It's important. So my best advice to you is to talk to the person that invited you to join this challenge, and they'll sort you out, no problem. All right, this is what I'd like you to do. So, this week you've had a few conversations with people. You've used the magic question. Maybe you've uncovered some pain points with people, etc. But now I want you to just relax. I want you to feed your spirit. I just want you to have some happy chats with people. Let's finish on a high. Have some happy chats with at least 5 people, preferably 10. Be helpful where you can, and maybe if you've got a Facebook group, maybe there's an opportunity to invite them into the group, but that's not your agenda. It's only if the opportunity arises. Just have some happy chats. Friendshipping, asking them some questions, being helpful, taking an interest in them. Just try that. Finish on a high, a pleasant high, as you move into the weekend. All right, so this is a fun one. And then finally, watch, listen to, or read something inspiring over the next 24 hours. And as usual, report it to the group. Report it to the group. Okay, so 2 very simple tasks, and these are fun tasks. I think you'll enjoy them. And I really want to find out how you're going with that. I want to read your reports in the group. If I'm sometimes a bit behind on commenting or liking your reports, your homework assignment reports, bear with me. During a challenge week, I'm always behind, but I usually catch up once the challenge has finished. All right, well, that's it. That's the end of the challenge, the $1 Million Formula Challenge. I trust that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you got a lot of value out of it. I'm sure you did. And more importantly, I hope you're taking the concrete steps that are necessary to take your business to the next level. And I want to hear about those stories, so you can report those in the group over the next few months if you want. I'd love you to do that. All right, this is Kim Willis, and by the way, thanks to the other people who contribute, thanks to everybody that did their homework and stuck with it to the end. I know it's not always easy because we do lead busy lives. And also, in particular, I want to thank the Tribe Builder affiliates that help to make this challenge possible. So thanks to everybody. I love working with you guys, and I hope to become more friendly with you, know you a bit better in the future, and I just love to watch your journey. Okay, this is Kim Willis. Bye for now.